Gunfire echoed across the water. Two men were alone on a boat, the victim and Miles Edgeworth. And on the shore, an eyewitness. It looks like an open and shut case.
Since Von Karma's viciousness will be on display, 10 times mine.
That says a lot.
You have fallen so far. All these years I've guided you, raised you as my own.
I'm forever grateful.
Don't fool yourself into thinking that means I'll show you mercy in there.
I realize that, sir.
As you should.
That's him.
As I said, he's 20 times more vicious than I.
20 times?
I think it just doubled.
40 years without a single loss. He's so intense.
The court is hereby in session.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Prosecution, are you ready? Mr. Von Karma?
Do you think I would stand here were I not absolutely prepared? What a foolish question.
Right. My deepest apologies, sir. Now, if you would please begin your opening statement.
I have undeniable evidence and an irrefutable witness. Why should I waste my breath on that?
Yes, your breath is far too precious.
I get the feeling Von Karma's the one in charge here.
And I get the feeling this is going to be totally brutal.
I call the detective to take the stand, Richard Gumshoe. You will now describe the incident.
Yes, sir! The crime took place at Gourd Lake. At 12:10 a.m., our witness heard a shot ring out from the water. When she looked out, she saw two men in a small boat. Immediately after, another shot rang out, and one of the men fell into the water. The lake was covered in a thick blanket of fog that night.
That's enough!
Huh?
You will now tell the court the details of the arrest.
It's my job to move things along.
You have only one job to complete here. Slam down the gavel and declare the defendant guilty, understood?
Yes! Understood, sir.
He's such a pushover!
The police were called just a little bit after 12:30 a.m. The officers arrived at the scene within 5 minutes and immediately apprehended Mr. Edgeworth, who was nearby.
Was a weapon discovered at this time?
Yes, sir. The pistol used in the shooting.
There were some fingerprints found on the gun, were there not?
Yes.
And those belong to whom?
To Mr. Miles Edgeworth. They matched his right hand perfectly. The next morning, a gunshot victim's body was found in the lake. Estimated time of death was around 12 a.m. Killed by a single shot to the heart. It was instantaneous.
I present the bullet found inside the body. Was this bullet fired from the very same pistol that your men recovered from the crime scene?
Yes, the ballistic markings are an exact match.
One moment, please.
Yeah? What?
Speaking of,
Go on!
just what are ballistic markings again?
If you're serious, ballistic markings are like the fingerprints of a firearm. The bearer leaves distinctive marks on each bullet it fires. If you examine these closely, you can determine which gun fired the bullet in question.
The victim is Robert Hammond, an attorney.
Did the defendant know the victim?
Mr. Edgeworth has revealed that Mr. Hammond had summoned him to the lake that night.
To what end?
We asked him about that, sir, but he refused to give an answer.
And so, a witness, fingerprints, familiarity with the victim. All of these facts point to Miles Edgeworth as the perpetrator. Now I call upon the eyewitness to take the stand. This is Lana Hart, the woman who heard the gunfire that killed Hammond.
This courtroom is fancy! I've always wanted to be a part of a legal drama like this!
Tell us exactly what you saw on the night of the murder.
I reckon it was just a few minutes after midnight on a foggy Christmas Eve. I was fast asleep in my tent when I heard it. Pop! The shot woke me up! I looked out toward the lake and saw two gentlemen in a little rowboat. Then there was another shot went off. Pow!
I shall now present a photograph taken at that very moment.
That's not good.
No way!
But looks like the murder is actually taking place in the photograph.
We see here the victim and the defendant captured on film. Yes, ergo, the only person who could have fired the shot was your client, Miles Edgeworth! Do you have an objection, defense?
Well,
Then this trial has reached its conclusion.
Say what?
I agree. If the defense has no counter-argument, we have nothing left to discuss.
Then do your job and hand down the guilty verdict.
Nick, what do we do?
hold it! I haven't even been given the chance to cross-examine the witness yet.
There is no need. This photograph says it all.
Perhaps, but by law, the defense does have the right to engage in cross-examination.
Then I shall allow you to ask only one question.
Wait, only one?
If that question changes nothing, I demand we go directly to the verdict.
That's absurd!
Alas, the judge has already concluded the evidence is decisive. Thus, we must accept his terms.
This is how the god of prosecutors does it?
I'm sorry I can't help you. I know that if Mia were here, she could definitely find a way, but I just can't channel her.
It's okay.
Should your question be irrelevant, I will have you ejected for contempt of court.
He doesn't want the witness to talk any further. Which means there must be a contradiction in her testimony. I will agree to your terms, Mr. Von Karma.
You will?
Miss Hart, so when you heard the second shot go off that night,
Bang! Went the first shot, then pow!
at that time, could you clearly see the boat with the two men?
It's all right there in the picture. Look at it.
Yes, I saw the picture, but I'm asking about what you
That's
saw.
quite enough!
What?
Considering we have a photo, this line of questioning is pointless.
Sorry, Shug. That must burn your britches.
Your Honor!
The defense agreed to certain terms, and since there is no new information, the cross-examination is over.
Seriously?
Speaking of those terms, it's time for the verdict.
Objection!
Wait, what are you doing?
Lotta Hart, I gotta say your testimony stinks.
Huh? How come?
That picture is way too foggy to tell who it really is in the boat, and you refuse to say what you actually saw with your own eyes. Tell us the truth! Don't you realize people's lives are at stake?
Why do you gotta make me out to be the bad guy? Look, I saw him. Miles Edgeworth was in that boat, clear as day.
Now, Judge, you must declare the defense in contempt of court.
Yes, of course. Please escort Mr. Wright from the courtroom at once.
Wait a second! I was the one who made the outburst. Wright didn't do a single thing wrong, okay?
What? You're in contempt?
I'll take any punishment you see fit. But think about what she said just now. She said she clearly saw Edgeworth. That wasn't in her original testimony.
Throw that churlish girl out of the courtroom!
I'm sorry, Nick, but this is the only thing I could think of to help.
Maya, wait!
The rest is up to you. Edgeworth is innocent. Don't stop believing.
Maya!
I loathe this spectacle. Will you declare the defendant guilty so we can end this disgrace?
Objection! The witness just claimed that she clearly saw Edgeworth that night. That means her testimony is changed. Therefore, I have a right to conduct a full and thorough cross-examination.
Objection! Your cross-examination is over, defense.
The court sustains the defense's objection.
Sustained?
So you may continue, Mr. Wright.
Yes, sir.
What nonsense.
Thank you, Maya. You've given us another chance, and I promise that I won't waste it. So, Miss Hart, you now claim to have clearly seen Miles Edgeworth in the boat that night.
Yeah, I did. What of it?
Take a look at this photo. The lake's covered in a dense fog. How could you have seen his face?
Well,
Objection! A camera's lens is quite different from the human eye.
What do you mean?
the fog was thick as a bowl of grits that night. But I grabbed these bad boys here.
Your binoculars?
I heard that big pow! And then I had a peek through my trusty old binocs.
That makes sense. They would enable her to see much more clearly from a great distance.
Boss, there's no contradiction in her testimony.
Miss Hart. You'd come to Gourd Lake to try to stake out and photograph the mysterious creature known as Gordy, didn't you?
Yeah, so what?
Since the monster's first appearance was accompanied by a loud bang, you set your camera to be triggered by explosive sounds, isn't that right?
Bingo! And that's how I got that crime scene picture.
Now, if you'd happen to hear something like a gunshot ring out, what would you do? I'd be willing to bet that you'd be furiously scanning the lake for any sign of Gordy. You wouldn't focus on a boat.
Pow! All right! I finally got my big money shot!
If I understand this, you're saying that you were not watching the boat at all?
I reckon not. Every dang cell in my body was focused like a laser on spotting old Gordy that night.
Oh, what a headache.
I'm real sorry, y'all, but it's always been a dream of mine to be a part of a big case and I got carried away. Hey, y'all do have an actual picture of the crime being committed, which is better than an eyewitness, right?
But it's still impossible to tell who is shooting who through all the fog.
Yep, I knew you'd bring that up. You're not the only smart one in the room here, Nick.
What?
I was ready for this, which is why I took the thing and made myself an enlargement.
That's enough! Cease this blathering at once.
What? Shut up!
The cross-examination of this witness is over. Do I make myself clear?
Objection! This isn't over just yet. Lot of heart.
Yeah? What now?
You say that you enlarged this photograph?
Yup, sure did.
No such version exists.
Hey, I handed that thing over to you free of charge.
Silence!
Your Honor, I'm asking you, please allow the enlargement to be submitted.
That is not necessary!
Witness, you will submit this picture to the court as evidence.
Darn tootin'! Now check this out.
There must be something off, but what?
Well, I say, I still can't really determine who is doing the shooting in this picture.
Indeed, that's why it's unnecessary. It provides no further proof.
If he thinks that, why did he try to suppress it? There must be something here. I see it!
Now, can we put an end to this ridiculous trial?
Objection! Look very closely at this, and you'll see a glaring contradiction.
And what's that?
If you recall the testimony given by the detective earlier,
There were some fingerprints found on the gun, were there not?
Yes, from Mr. Miles Edgeworth. The prints match his right hand perfectly.
upon close examination of this photograph, you can see that the assailant is holding the gun in his left hand. Therefore, the man shown firing in this picture is not Edgeworth!
It's apparent that the photograph does indeed contradict the fingerprints found on the murder weapon. In light of this revelation, I hereby suspend proceedings so both teams can further investigate.
Sir! So, what have you got going on here, Detective?
Glad to see you got out, Missy.
Oh man, it feels so good to be out. I kinda can't believe they really put me in jail for contempt of court over that.
That damn trial deserves all the contempt it can get, in my opinion.
Just doing my part. I'm so glad we see eye to eye.
Listen, I get it, but please don't do that again.
You know, Edgeworth bailed you out. He's a real class act.
What? Edgeworth paid my bail?
Yeah, about that.
It seems I've accrued a large debt.
Don't worry about it.
Not to you. I owe Maya Fey.
Yes, of course. That whole thing.
I offer to post her bail in return. Go and pick her up at once.
That's really nice. But do you suppose you can pay my rent while you're at it?
I just wish I could have channeled Mia. I'm sure things would have gone a whole lot differently. But no, I'm too weak.
You're not. No way.
Hey, we can't just stand around feeling sorry for ourselves. Not while Edgeworth is still trembling in fear and crying his eyes out back at the jailhouse.
You're right! Because now we might be the only ones who can help him dry his tears.
Are we talking about the same Edgeworth here? So, what's with that?
Ah, it's one of those metal detector thingies. I was hoping it would help me detect some new clues out here. But no luck so far.
I think it's awesome! Hey, Detective, if you don't mind, can I please, oh please, try it out?
Sure, maybe it'll actually work for you.
Yay!
Well, let me know if anything turns up for you guys.
We certainly will.
Let's see.
What are you doing?
There's just gotta be something.
Hey, it's y'all!
You startled me!
I'm real sorry about everything that happened. I didn't realize being a witness was such a big responsibility.
You could say that.
After a while, that scary prosecutor guy got me believing I'd actually seen it.
He got inside your head, huh?
I reckon. But from here on out, I'm just gonna focus all my attention back on catching old Gordy.
You haven't given up on that?
The whole reason I came here in the first place was to flush out that monster and make a whole lot of dollar. And I'ma ride that baby like a rocket to stardom.
Hey, Nick, come check this out!
What's that?
An air tank. Now, I don't want you scaring away my Gordy with that thing. What with all those weird noises and stuff?
Could that be it? I hate to break it to you, but I think I just figured out this whole mystery.
Say what?
I know what Gordy is.
Dude, I swear I have never seen this thing in my entire life.
You're not weaseling out of this one. This was wrapped around it.
Well, those are my buns, but...
If you've never really seen that tank before, how'd you fill that huge balloon?
He did it himself. He huffed and he puffed. Is that right?
Yeah, no way that's what happened.
Okay, I guess I'm busted. Here's how it went down. About 10 days ago, I tried using the tank to fill up the Steel Samurai. Uh-oh. Thing went off like a rocket with Steely Man along for the ride.
And then something miraculous happened.
Oh, yeah?
The Steel Samurai flew over the lake and into the water. Someone caught it on film.
That's what it is?
I'm pretty sure the loud bang must have been the tank's pipe popping off from all the pressure.
You're saying Gordy's not actually a dinosaur?
A deflated balloon, that's all.
I think my dream's just deflated, too.
That is awesome!
Shut up, butthead!
Hey, Lotta,
Huh?
don't ever give up on getting that monster scoop. And I won't give up on being a great spirit medium.
I won't. Guess we both have some big dreams, don't we?
Well, take care of yourself.
Y'all holler back at me now. Shoot, I almost forgot. I did tell y'all that my camera snapped 2 pictures of the night of the murder, didn't I?
I guess that the first one was never submitted into evidence, huh?
Well, there was no reason since it ain't nothing but a bunch of water. But I reckon I'll let you have it. Think of it as kind of a parting gift or something from me and old Gordy.
Oh, that's so thoughtful.
There is nothing but lake in this thing.
The camera really did go off on account of some big bang that night, though. Later. I almost forgot. One more thing.
What is it this time?
Oh, just a red-hot tip for y'all. I know who called the Popo the other night. It was the boathouse guy.
Oh, really?
But they decided to call me in to testify because they knew I'd liven up the proceedings. Smell y'all later!
She was there to liven it up?
I'm home, Polly.
Good morning. Hello.
It seems as though we have some visitors.
Don't forget.
Now, Polly, hush.
Don't forget. Don't forget DL6. Don't forget DL6. Don't forget DL6. Ah!
Objection! The appearance of a new witness only serves to obscure the truth even further. Echoes of the past reverberate with the name of a tragic incident. The trial is led deeper into confusion, exactly where Von Karma wants it to go. And just as the gavel begins to fall on Edgeworth, a voice cries out, "Hold it!" Find the contradictions, believe in the truth. Next episode, Turnabout Goodbyes, third trial. Take that!